so plain and precious. Finally, the Book of Mormon is the keystone of
Emmanuel.
Just as the arch crumbles if the keystone is removed, so does all the church fall with the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon. The enemies of the church understand this clearly.
This is not the Church of Emmanuel, Christ of Latter-day Saints, of Joseph Smith. This is the Church of Jesus Christ.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, this morning I was emailing it up with Jasmine, and I see that she also sent me a YouTube comment reply from this morning's video. Utah Mormons celebrate LDS Church white supremacy. So, let's go over it. Hey Travis, someone called you a racist? Yeah, that happens. After all these years on YouTube, it happens. Mormons and white supremacists don't like being called white supremacist. They don't like being called racist, sexist, bigoted, neglectful of the poor, anti-Semitic, and they make all sorts of excuses and justifications, and yes, beam and motes back onto me. He can't do that. You're the one who was accusing me, and so when I call you out on it, you can't turn it back on me. That's a little kid's game. You're supposed to be grown-ups. But, yeah, a lot of white supremacists are illiterate. You know, Trump was illiterate, had to learn how to read when he became president. And so he started off with Dick and Jane books. I don't understand these other competitors. If it's easy. It's easy. Trump should have been humiliated in 2016. What the hell? Put me on the debate stage with him. We'll talk about his child with his daughter. It's real easy to upset a white supremacist. They're highly strung. See if that will be the theme song in the description below. Not highly hung, highly strung. It's an 80s band. Your minds, where was it going? Shame on you. And so, yeah, over the years, I've had people pretending to be other races, other religions, claiming to be Mormon, and it was obvious they weren't. I'm born and raised in the Covenant Mormon for 50 years now, 53 years. You cannot trick me into pretending to be Mormon and then making a false accusation for me to leave your people alone. Dear God. Trolls. So stupid. But, yeah, most of the time they're white people. The one this morning was a white person trying to defend an Asian, the Asian Miss Universe, or Miss America, last year from Utah. And just like those of Islamists and Christian, you have to denounce your religion if you don't want to be an anti-Semitic, racist bigot. You can't claim that, well, you're not like the other anti-Semitic, racist bigots. You're not like the other, as a Christian or Islamist. You actually have to say, I'm out. This church obviously ain't true. Because they're anti-Semitic, racist bigots. And so thus, I keep saying over and over again, beam and moat. Because these hate-filled people do not understand. It doesn't matter if you're black, it doesn't matter if you're Asian, it doesn't matter if you're Russian, it doesn't matter. To attack me for Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon and the learning of the Jews, you are automatically, instantly wrong before you start typing on your cell phone. Because your thoughts expose you. And so when you type a comment out, that's the fruit of your thoughts. I now know you. And so, yeah, I've had lots of people trolling, lots of people with hate. And they refuse and deny that they are the bad guys. And it's very difficult trying to warn people that their lives are in danger and they're more concerned about picking a fight with me. But, yeah, there was another one after that comment, and before I saw yours, who claims that they are both Native Indian and, whoops, didn't want to do that, and African American. And yet they're hiding their identity behind a statue head with text. And they call themselves Night Raven Speaks. But nonetheless, I'm sure it's their job, because they're not pretending to be someone they're not. But it was on the LDS Church prophet Bednar says Holy Ghost will prompt the church is false. This was a church news video, and I don't understand why he's pulling the race card on me on this one. But people do the dumbest things. See, the first comment he made, he was starting to watch my videos. The first one he made was on, as Mormons do to me, so did their ancestors do to Joseph Smith. Do you understand what an ancestor is, Mormons? Is that too complicated? And this guy, obviously he couldn't have been a pioneer Mormon unless they was a slave to Brigham Young. If he is what he says he is. But for him not to understand about the Danites, to deny the history of the church about the Danites and how Brigham Young was in charge of it. God, just so abominable. And so he doesn't seem to understand that my life is an exact pattern of what Joseph Smith did. The Danites of today are doing what the Danites of yester century, did to Joseph Smith. But he says making yourself on par with Joseph Smith comes off arrogant. That was a hasty conclusion. You come to one video. I even say in that video, I'm not going over the details like I have. You're not listening. And that's, white supremacists learn by vocalizing. And so it's difficult to, he was listening. He should have caught that. But he's not a white supremacist, as he claims. But that's what the church does. Is that Mia Love and other Kwaku and those who are female and any Jews that join the church, anybody who's not of the white master chosen race of Mormons, of the Danites, if they remain in the church trying to be faithful, the church turns them into supremacists. That's what white supremacy does. That's what the Book of Mormon teaches. King Noah. We all know King Noah. Because of his wickedness, he, through his example and commands, forced and taught the people to be wicked like him. And so the prophets, by being wicked, emulated by Mormons become wicked. And they don't see it as wicked because the prophets are that way. The prophets speak to Jesus. And so they don't see that what they did to me, because I claimed that Joseph and the Book of Mormon was in the learning of the Jews, just as Joseph and the Book of Mormon says they're in the learning of the Jews. It's not arrogant at all. And when Jesus, in the story about him by the Jewish author, he goes into the temple and declares, "I am he." And the people cry blasphemy. And also it was in when he's confronted by Caiaphas, the president of the church. Also, Caiaphas is deeply disturbed, rents his garment. How could you say such a thing? Like Captain Kirk always has to have his shirt off. Or wait a minute, that was Tim Allen in Galaxy Quest. But this night raven says, "Anyway, I want to learn more about what you have to say." Sorry, your second one, knowing what that says, you're gone. You're going to have to listen to me not signed in. And technically, YouTube shouldn't even allow that because of their screw up concerning protecting children. They make us click that our videos are not for children. So therefore, they're adult content automatically. But yet, as Jasmine and I are finding out, if YouTube deems that our videos are not family standards, which are kids' videos, they get an 18+ rating. And so that you can't see them signed out. You have to sign in. And so, technically nobody who gets banned from my channel should ever be allowed to watch my videos ever again because they're adult content. And they're technically religious. YouTube doesn't have that category. And yet there are a lot of religions that do video content, but YouTube will not cater to their customers or their creators. They cater to those who pay them. And they'd get a lot more money if they'd allow women to do their fashion and nudity. And just saying, women are the biggest drive of the economy. They learned that with the two movies that were up for the awards ceremonies. The Swift and the Barbie movie. Women were driving the economy. Yeah, because they're women. Businesses have known this technique for generations. When you go into a store, you go to the checkout, you put a female there. And yet, you get these housewives that are upset, they're jealous, and they want to destroy the business. And they don't understand the consequences. You take the women away, the business goes away too, and no more shopping at Mervyn's or Sears or JCPenney or Kmart. There's no stores left. They're all gone because housewives were jealous. Anyway. And so he's then asking, if you're no longer in the LDS church, are you in any church? One video. You know, I can understand over 7,000 videos on the 2 channels is intimidating, right, Jasmine? Intelligence is intimidating. But at least make the attempt to go to the home page and check the about. Do you consider the RLDS, founded by Joseph Smith III, a better choice? Joseph Smith's son, dear God. Where do you go if you believe the Book of Mormon and what Joseph Smith started? I don't go anywhere. I'm here, in my apartment, in a cave like Ether, wandering the earth like Moroni, waiting for the utter destruction of Mormons because they're in denial of the truth. They're going to be utterly destroyed by the great and abominable church. So says the Book of Mormon. So go ahead, Mormons. Continue to believe the Book of Mormon's not true. And so the racist one, he says, are you insane? With Bednar. I'm African American and Native American, and you are calling everyone of color and race a racist bigot. Did you not understand the learning of the Jews? It has nothing to do with whatever. Bednar is white supremacist. He's not colored. He's not a different race. Bednar. Anybody and everyone who replaces the Jews, denies them, claims that Jesus is the Christ, claims that Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are Christian with Jesus. You're racist and bigoted because the Jews are a religion and a race. It's not complicated. Has nothing to do with not believing me in what I believe, as he is making the false accusation. He's the racist and the bigot. Don't flash your race card at me. I'm going to shoot it right down. That's not your protection. I've got the Jew card. It trumps all other cards. But also, I do not draw first blood. That's what Mormons cannot get. This was a church news video. They drew first blood. So he then trying to race-splain to me. Firstly, a person must be aware of what they are doing and cannot condemn someone for following a religion. Yeah, I can. Watch that video, which, was that the one? No, that was Jasmine's. That's the Bednar video one. Knowing the real history of a religion's origins, not what they claim to be the history about supernatural events that occurred. The actual physical reality history of the startup. And so that's how I do it. I don't just attack Christians, Islamists, even Mormons, because it's not according to what I believe. That's what you're doing to me. Beam and moat. If you truly want to help people, yeah, really? Flatter, pacify, and deceive them, maybe? Oh, you don't know that the Book of Mormon tells you that that's Lucifer's method. Or lead them to truth, then this is not the best way. However, if you are just resentful and angry, then this is what you would expect. See, Mormons are resentful and angry. And this is what I get for telling them Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are the learning of the Jews. Are you that illiterate? 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2. Seriously, wake up. Tear off those blinders of supremacy. When a person has to say they don't care what people think, then they have just proven how much they do care. If you didn't care what people think, then you would not have. Oh, dear God. And then he's doing the reverse thing on me. Project much? That's beam and moat. He knows the beam and moat, and yet he can't see it in himself. So back to Jasmine to give me peace of mind. I was watching a special on the Gnostic version of the Bible. Apparently, it is suggested that the Garden of Eden story was backwards. They said Satan was the good guy because all he wanted is for humans to have knowledge to help themselves. Well, there's the book of Judas also, where we're supposed to empathize with him, feel sorry for him. He was just trying to do what he thought was best. Yep. They said Satan, well, let's see, was his name Enki? No, that's the Samaritans. That's the Samaritan text. Enki. Zaru. They have a different language for the Samaritans. It's more like Turkish. Dear God. Sumerian god of water, knowledge, crafts, creation, one of the Anunnaki, which there have been people on the internet trying to claim that they were space aliens, and yeah, there's the document that claims that the Anunnaki had come from outer space to Earth. They saw apes that looked like humans, and they changed the DNA to turn them into humans, and thus the missing link. But I'm still waiting for science to run the test. They're not running the test. You have to run the test, otherwise you can't have the theory. It's a real simple thing to do. They won't do it. like the Big Bang. They keep going off on the branches, assuming that the Big Bang is real. They have yet to reproduce the Big Bang. They won't do it. And creation, that's the Big Bang. What was some of the other ones? I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but anyway, yeah. And so he was a part of the Canaanites, the Hittites, Hurrians, so on and so forth. You got to understand that the Canaanites was only because of Assyria taking over the land. But the Hittites and the Hurrians, they're fascinating cultures. They had temple rituals in the Hittites right there on their walls, their temple walls. People would go through their temple initiatories, and the whole text was written there on the walls. Fascinating. They had robes. So, yeah. So that's a different thing than the Gnostics. Oh, you're talking about spirit babies again. Logically, they said, why would someone not want Adam and Eve to know what they needed to know to survive? Yeah, there's lots of problems with the literal history account. Just find the Egyptian source, or come to me. It's on Academia. I gave it to you. And then you can understand what the Genesis author is actually trying to tell you, so that you don't go astray on forbidden paths to the great and spacious building to laugh and mock at me. By the way, with all the spirit babies populating other planets, wouldn't the Ms. Universe? Mrs. and Ms. And the Miss took away the swimsuits. Have more participants than just the ones on Earth. You're gonna make me do the picture of you, Jasmine. Miss Kentucky, it's coming. Thanks for the further inspiration. I know for a fact my spirit baby daughters would be beauty pageant winners. Oh, hell yeah. I have pics of Madison, the new one for, Miss America, not Ms. America, 2024 in her swimsuit. What? They weren't doing swimsuits. Send them. Send them. I guess my criteria for what is beautiful is different from those that judge the contest. No, they're just evangelicals taking over, telling everybody that their standards and values dominate and bow to them. Mallory, Miss Kentucky, not supporting the state I am living in, but her stomach is the eighth wonder. So from racism to talking about women's beauty, that is awesome. And I see I got a email. Oh, no, apparently at BYU, I found in the news this morning that they're now having a class about being a Swiftie. Taylor Swift. So, yeah, I emailed that to somebody and they responded. I think we know now what happened in Roswell. with the theme song Saxon. There's something in Roswell. Yep. Just so that you guys know, Jasmine and James, he's classic DJ. Now, James, he's more modern, my age, which he's, just a couple years older than I am. So yeah, this guy is classic. He does the old school stuff with DJing. Just so that you know, there's room for both of you.